Arrives again. Alright, boys and girls, we're gonna test this here gizmo out. This is a DASHCAM monitoring system, and let's see if it works or not. Okay, I don't have the music on because my TV, my radio in my car has got some kind of issue where it doesn't power up, so I don't care because I got my brain to play the music in. Now, we're just coming out of our doctor's visit. He had to cancel, so I went ahead and made another appointment and got some other things done while I was visiting. What I want to talk about today, folks, is something that's been bugging me for past 50 some odd years. The first time I went by a cemetery. When you go by a cemetery, or if you know somebody who's there, that's a relative or kinfolk, you got to ask your question, what's wrong with this real estate deal? Because it's a one-shot, one thing only. Now, you pay a bunch of money to have yourself interned 6 feet under in a place where you're stationary. Now, if the family moves away, there you are. So now you're there at this cemetery forever, and you wonder to yourself, as an investor of property or anybody with monetary, so why in the world would you put people in the ground, make them only pay once? Because now you tied up that land forever, and ever means ever. That means to perpetuity. Now, we're going to pass by a graveyard here on the left. We won't be able to see it from any vantage point, but it's been there for 200 years. You can't do nothing with it. It's in the middle of the road. If they wanted to widen this road out, they can't because of that graveyard, and only because of that graveyard. Because everything you see around here right now is fluid. Nothing here is made in stone, other than that cemetery along a main thoroughfare. So whatever it would take to get that property back into use would be to no longer call it a cemetery. The only way to do that is remove the remains of those interned there. I see in the future a place where cemeteries will become a thing of the past. Nah, I mean, people get cremated, they'll get interned someplace, but the idea, the concept of a cemetery to me should have been gone a couple hundred years ago. I mean, in Europe, they weren't going to just, people died, good Lord, the plague made real estate be so precious that they would just take these bodies and throw them in the catacombs, collect up all like the Jews do during their ritual burials. They'll put the body out to rot, they'll collect the bones, throw them in a box, and put them underground in their family's crypt, underground, so it's not tying up precious land above, because Israel ain't exactly the biggest place on the planet. Now, in Europe, same thing. It's just that the way to deal with bodies, there were so many of them. So they made them into art. And if you ever go to Italy, or you ever go to France, or some places in Germany, you'll find these remains turned into art. Now, I got a problem with that at all, because they're dead. Their spirits are gone. What's left on the earth will burn up when the sun goes supernova, so it's irrelevant. The point is, you just think about it going, man, who have they thought about? Let me have 5 acres of land and throw bodies on it. It's a good income until it fills up, and then you're done. Just bury yourself in there and be done with it. That's just that. The other thing is this COVID. I'm sorry, folks, but stupid is what stupid is, and stupid's done. Right now, people are dying by the droves only because of people who are selfish. They don't want to follow the rules that are set forth by common sense. Follow science, you can follow whatever you want. Just common sense, folks. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Hygiene. There's that graveyard I was talking about. It's on the left. You can't see it. The human species as an entity, we're a bunch of idiots. All right? Because you know you can't fix stupid. When you're driving down the road, you look over and you got somebody wearing a mask that's by themselves. Who are they afraid of getting it from? The car? Or they're walking down a road or street, sidewalk, Ain't a person within a mile of them wearing a mask. Folks, if you're at home and the people that you're surrounded with keep coming and going, put on a mask while you're at home. While those people are in your home, have them wear a mask. Only because you don't know where they've come from. They don't even know where they've come from or who they've come in contact with or potentially rubbed up against to get COVID. It's purely common sense, folks. To isolate yourself, I'm all for it. I'm doing it myself right now. Whenever my family decides to venture out, I look at them and go, nah, 14 days. I'm just going to sit here and not be around you for 14 more days. Because you put yourself in that situation where you may get me infected. Now, I've already been exposed to different conditions that can cause me to become ill. We already know that since I'm suffering from some kind of lung issue that is not ick related or anything like that. But it's possible that at any point in time COVID can enter my home and get me. Now, the white blood cells in my body are being produced because of one of the medications I'm taking to fend off all the other lung issues. That's in there. It's going on. It's steroids. That steroid produces white blood cells in numerous quantities. So I have an elevated white blood cell count right now, only because of those steroids. And it'll continue on until the steroids are stopped. Now, the trouble is, steroids have ill effects. And when those ill effects, any ill effects it causes, that's just it. So you don't want to be on it for very much longer. Maybe another month. And I should be free from having to take any more of those steroids. It does mess up my blood count as far as blood clotting factor. That's just a give and take kind of thing. We just talked about that before I left. My clotting factor is a little bit out of whack. So to be careful not to cut myself. I'm going to bleed out. My test kitchen is my cat. Anytime she scratches me, I'll bleed a little bit and it won't be no big to do. But that's neither here nor there. So, moving right along. As you've noticed, it's been kind of gloomy today because the clouds are out. Now, we're getting a nor'easter to come through. I expect more rain than anything, but it might snow. If it does, fine. I mean, I'll run out. It's going to be an inch, big deal. Not like it's going to be a foot. But where you're at, you're probably getting stormed on right pretty quick. Out west, you got the fires, and you got all the other little things. I just want to touch on one thing, folks. Don't give up your rights during COVID. Do not give up any of your rights during COVID. There's no need. These people out here making the laws and the rules and regulations, there's going to be coming up for them. A lot of them will get recalled. They'll be impeached. I see a post-COVID government where a lot of these politicians are being handed the exit door and not getting put back in office because their abuse of power. Unfortunately, elections didn't do it. Most of them weren't up for re-election. If they were, they got put back in there only because of ignorance. But that'll come back and get them. Now, after January 20th, the new administration comes in and starts doing whatever they're going to do. If you're on their side and you won, well, congratulations. If you're on the opposition and you lost, well, you got 4 years. All right, so get your ducks all lined up and try again. Remember, it's 2022. So if we lose Georgia and it goes to the Democrats and the House, the Senate, and the White House are occupied by those people, the resistance, as what we got for the last 4 years on their side, we'll just have to be more diligent to make sure that they lose seats in 2022. I believe it'll happen. I believe what'll happen is this idiot Biden probably will suffer from dementia to a point where he no longer is capable of talking. Right now, he can put his foot in his mouth every time he turns around. That Camilla will become the president by default because of the 25th Amendment, and well, she won't have much of a rule because, again, you know, you'll have to wait for the elections in 2022 because the silent majority, they didn't speak enough. Orange man bad, status quo go, and everything goes back to normal. Everybody goes back to usual Washington shenanigans. There'll be scandals. There'll be, I'm afraid there's going to be another attack on the sovereignty of the United States by a foreign entity because of the military being decimated once again. Their readiness to be reduced, and then attacks will occur to test the waters. Now, China will be forefront, but I'm hoping that the new administration at least looks at North Korea as a continuing maintenance, as an effort. Iran is denied its nuclear ability. Because the first time they're going to use the bomb, it'll be on Israel. And since Israel is a high ally to the U.S., shockingly, the Biden administration hopefully will put out an olive branch to Netanyahu and show that we support Israel. If he doesn't, then here we go again. Shuttle diplomacy. I do want to see Trump get the Nobel Peace Prize at least 3 times because of what he's done. Orange man bad, you people didn't like him, get over it. Here we are, folks, so we're going to have to go ahead and cut this short. Orange man bad, isn't that sad? I mean, the poor guy, even Maxine Waters, before he even took the frickin' office, we must impeach, we got impeached 45. Pain in the ass.